The story of the disappearing housewife kicked off so normally that no one in the neighborhood really paid attention at first. It was one of those lazy Sunday afternoons in Durban where the sun made everyone move slower and talk softer. Neighbors later remembered kids playing, a couple arguing faintly, and a dog barking at nothing, just the usual sounds of a suburb that liked to pretend nothing bad ever happened. In the midst of all that normalcy, Nandi stepped out, locked her door, and told her husband she was just popping out for bread. That was it. Nothing dramatic, nothing suspicious. She didn't pack a bag. She didn't look troubled. She didn't even take long, purposeful strides like someone with a secret agenda. She walked down the driveway, waved at an elderly neighbor sweeping her veranda, and disappeared into the kind of day that gives you no hint it's about to swallow somebody whole. Sifo didn't freak out at first. 10 minutes late. No big deal. She was probably just chatting or stuck in line. After 25 minutes, he felt a bit annoyed. By 40 minutes, he texted her, "Everything okay?" When it went through but she didn't reply, he shrugged and went back to his game. But after an hour, that cold knot formed in his chest. Not panic yet, but definitely something off. He walked to the corner shop, expecting to find her chatting or comparing prices at the bread shelf like always. But she wasn't there, and the cashier hadn't seen her. That's when he felt something slip inside him, like a door quietly closing. When he got home, the neighborhood felt different. The lazy afternoon vibe suddenly had an edge. Sifo checked his phone again. Still nothing. He called her, and the phone rang and rang, feeling like an insult. He called neighbors, but nobody had seen her since she waved at the lady with the broom. Someone suggested checking the CCTV. Sifo opened the app and rewound the footage. There she was, stepping out, smiling, swinging her purse, heading down the street. And then, nothing. That small stretch between their house and the shop became a void. By 6 p.m., police were involved, reluctantly, because adults don't officially go missing that quickly unless there's blood on the ground or a car left abandoned with the doors open. But Sifo pressed, the neighbors whispered, and the officer on duty finally agreed to take a statement. They checked CCTV from nearby houses and the shop, but all that did was build a depressing timeline. Nandi left home. Nandi was seen by 3 neighbors. Nandi did not enter the shop. Nandi did not appear on any peripheral footage walking in any other direction. It was like she stepped into a crack in the world and vanished. The police combed the area for days. They questioned everyone. They checked hospitals, shelters, churches, taxi stands. They went through fields. They even opened storm drains because, well, what if? But there was nothing. No shoe, no bag, no suspicious car slowing down, no screams recorded by anyone's home camera. Everything stayed painfully, insultingly normal. People started talking. Some said maybe she ran away, but that theory collapsed instantly. She left behind her ID, her bank card, her clothes, her half-done grocery list pinned to the fridge. Others whispered she might have been taken, but then how did nobody hear anything? Some of the old women in the area muttered about things they didn't name directly. Shadows, bad spirits, ancestors calling someone home, but they only ever said those things in low voices, as if scared the air might listen. The first real breakthrough came 2 weeks later, except it wasn't a breakthrough at all. It was a problem. One morning at exactly for 12 a.m., Nandi's red Toyota appeared neatly parked in the driveway. It hadn't been there the night before. Sifo swore it. The neighbors swore it. The CCTV swore it. Between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., the camera caught nothing but moths flying past the lens. Then, suddenly at dawn, the car was parked like a gift or a warning. The police came running. They approached the car carefully, expecting a body. But the car was spotless, cleaner than it had been in years. Not a fingerprint smudge, not a speck of dust. It looked detailed, like someone had washed it inside and out. The keys were not in the ignition, not in the car, not on the property. The doors were locked. On the passenger seat lay her phone, wiped clean. Not factory reset, just physically cleaned. No prints, no smudges. But it still turned on, and when they powered it up, one message notification flashed, a text from Sifo from the day she disappeared. Nothing unusual, nothing new. Then the phone died. It wouldn't turn back on. At this point, the story started spreading. Local news outlets ran segments. Social media went wild. Theories multiplied like ants. Crime syndicates, stalkers, jealous ex-lovers, human trafficking rings, police cover-ups, cults, supernatural angles. People picked whichever version scared them the most. But what made everything worse was the silence. No ransom calls, no sightings, no strange purchases on her bank account. No pings from her SIM, nothing. As the weeks stretched into months, Sifo turned into a ghost of himself. He kept the porch lights on every night, as if she might come back and need help finding her way in. He made missing person posters and taped them on every corner, even though people kept tearing them down. He slept on the couch for months because the bed felt too big to final. Every once in a while, someone would report seeing a woman who looked like her at a mall or a taxi rank or on the beach, but every lead died before it even breathed. Then came the part no one likes to talk about, the part where people started forgetting her. Not because they were cruel, but because life drags you forward even when you don't want it to. Kids still needed school runs. Bills still needed paying. Neighbors moved. New families came in. Seasons changed. And Sifo's porch light kept glowing every night like a stubborn hope. But here's the thing that kept the case alive long after it should have faded. Every year, on the exact anniversary of her disappearance, something happened. The first year, the trimmed hedge in front of their house was cut into a perfectly straight line, even though Sifo hadn't touched it. The second year, her favorite mug, the chipped yellow one, appeared on the kitchen counter, though no one had opened the locked cupboard in months. The third year, the TV turned itself on at 3:14 a.m. and played a home video of her laughing on the beach, even though that file wasn't on the system. The fourth year, a neighbor swore she saw someone who looked exactly like Nandi standing near the street lamp at dawn, but when she blinked, the figure was gone. That neighbor moved out 2 months later. Sifo never stopped looking, even when the police quietly rolled the case into the cold folder and stopped pretending they'd find anything. He met with psychics, pastors, private investigators, conspiracy bloggers, anyone who claimed they had answers. None of them did, but one private investigator, a retired woman named Dinio, noticed something strange. She studied the CCTV footage again and again, frame by frame, looking for anything the original team missed. And one night, around 2 a.m., exhausted and bleary-eyed, she saw something that made her sit up so fast she knocked her coffee over. It was in the reflection of a car window, not Nandi disappearing, not a kidnapper's van, but a man standing near the corner, just barely visible. His face was partially hidden, but his posture. It was wrong, too still, too straight, like he was waiting. Dinio enhanced the image, but the quality made it nearly useless. Still, she kept digging. She found that same man appearing in at least 2 other cameras along the street in the minutes before and after Nandi walked out, just far enough to avoid detection, but not far enough to be coincidence. The police downplayed it. Probably a random passerby, they said. But Dinio wasn't convinced. She kept pushing, but every request for more footage came back with the same excuse: data overwritten. By the 5th year, something changed in Sifo. He didn't give up. He just shifted. Instead of waiting for her to come home, he started trying to build a life that honored the woman he lost. He planted a small garden, the kind she always talked about but never started. He adopted a stray dog that kept sleeping on their porch. He joined a community watch group. He smiled sometimes, not often, but enough. Then, exactly 5 years after her disappearance, at 12 a.m., the same time her car had mysteriously appeared, Sifo woke up to a strange sound. Not a bang, not footsteps, just humming. A soft, familiar tune coming from outside. He stepped onto the porch, heart pounding, and in the dim pre-dawn light, he saw her red Toyota again, in the same spot, silent and clean. Except this time, the driver's door was open. He froze. The humming stopped. He walked toward the car like someone approaching a wild animal. He looked inside. The seatbelt was buckled like someone had just been sitting there. On the floor, half tucked under the seat, was the loaf of bread she had gone to buy, fresh, still warm. That was the last confirmed event in the case file. What happened after that is mostly whispered, not written. Some say Sifo moved away quietly. Others say he stayed but avoided everyone. A few claim he started seeing someone New Year's later. But the neighbors who lived closest remember something different. They say his porch light never went off, not once, not even during load shedding. They swear sometimes, late at night, you could hear faint humming on the street, the same melody, the same voice. And every year, on the anniversary, a fresh loaf of bread shows up on his doorstep. No fingerprints, no witnesses, no explanation, just the bread and the hum.